Welcome back. If you have evidence, you know, that there are individuals who are funding terror, who are paying Nigerians to blow up other Nigerians and kill them and commit murder and mayhem, why is it that you've not made that evidence public or taking it, you know, to the authorities and they use it to make arrests?
Okay, let me put it to you like this, okay? I judge them by their utterances, the way they behave. Now, I'm saying to you clearly and categorically that my belief, my view based on what I've seen and what I know is that, one, the APC is a party with an Islamist agenda that believes in the Muslim cause, that uses religion to play politics, which is very dangerous, and that it has within its ranks, many of its leaders, its most notable figures and leaders, have a clear warm spot or soft spot for Boko Haram based on what they have said. I'm also concerned about the activities of some of their senators who seem to know when Boko Haram are about to bomb and when they're not about to bomb, who said they knew where the girls were. I'm also concerned about the utterances of their official spokesman. Now, based on that, I make my assertion and my allegation. I also say this, that the leaders of the APC may not be violent men, but as far as I'm concerned, they represent an Islamist cause, and they have some kind of symbiotic relationship with Boko Haram, who also are prepared to put the gun where their mouths are and effect that cause by the bullet.
Your evidence is their utterances and
my
the things
evidence is
said.
the fact that they have publicly sympathized and spoken up for Boko Haram on a number of occasions.
Do you have
some of their leading figures.
Do you have evidence of, say, funding? Could it be that the reason we haven't seen any prosecution is that actually there's no evidence? And there's no evidence because this is really just not true. This is all politics.
Well, I can assure you clearly and categorically that Boko Haram could not have gone as far as they have gone had there not been an element of collusion from within elements within the political class. I have no doubt about that. They've gone too far. They've done too much damage. They're very focused in their thinking.
And in your view, this political class all reside within the APC?
I would say the ones that I am aware of. I've told you the one I'm not aware, the PDP one I spoke out, just as I spoke about the APC ones. When it was the PDP, and the one I heard, the one I listened to, when he said they're freedom fighters, that was the chairman of the PDP, Alhaji Bamangrechuku. I took him up on it. Only two people in this country did, the president of Canada and myself. And I did that, and the man is no longer chairman of the PDP. Perhaps what the APC should do, if they want us to shed our suspicions, is to begin to think twice about the type of spokesman they have, the type of presidential aspirants they have, and so on and so forth. That might allay our fears. But as long as these people remain there, as long as they continue to play key roles within that party, and as long as they continue to say the sort of things they've said in the past, we have every right to raise questions. And I maintain it, and I'll say it again. And they have an Islamist agenda, and I stand by that.
Let's move to something else. Let's talk about leadership and the things that perhaps make someone either a good leader or a bad leader. President Obasanjo versus
my Oga.
Your current Oga.
Well, President Obasanjo is my Oga.
As well, and
but
the current
Goodluck is my president. Yes, of course.
Right.
Sure.
Where, if you are weighing the two of them in terms of, you know, the way they lead, the achievements, etc., how would you rate them?
Well, President Obasanjo is an extraordinary man, and he's somebody that has his own way of handling issues and handling matters. And of course, I have immense respect for him. I have criticized him on a number of occasions, both before I joined his government and after I left his government. It's not everything I agree on with him, and most of the time I don't speak because he's my Oga and he'll always be my Oga. But sometimes I do disagree with him publicly. I believe that the style of President Goodluck Jonathan is completely different, completely different. And perhaps these are one of the things we didn't take into consideration before. We thought perhaps the only way forward is to continue with President Obasanjo's head-on style of doing things. But that's not the only way to get things done. So they're very different, and it would be very unfair for me to compare them. In some respects, Obasanjo is so much stronger and so much better. In other respects, Jonathan is
You're doing
better.
the sitting on the fence thing.
Not at all.
Yes,
you know, I'd always speak my mind. Jonathan is a far more gentle person than President Obasanjo. Obasanjo is very forceful. And he has strong will, strong political will. He gets things done. He doesn't have time for rubbish.
Now, when you
Jonathan,
say,
on the other hand, is gentle. He's a little bit slower, but that doesn't mean he's any less purposeful. And I think that perhaps for this time in the development of our nation, you might need to have somebody that's a little bit more gentle and a little bit more meek than somebody that's too, but equally purposeful than somebody that's too strong-headed and abrasive and so on and so forth. Now, I may be wrong, but I think it would be unfair for me to compare. They both have their weaknesses, they both have their strengths.
Now, they had a very public spat recently with the president, former president, writing an open letter in which he made some damaging allegations against our sitting president. What did you make of that letter? Well,
that's interesting because at the time the letter was written by President Obasanjo, we spoke on the phone, and I asked him, you know, the following day, look, how serious is this? And he assured me that everything he had written was 100% correct. And you
believed him at the time?
Of course, because at that time, if you remember, I came out publicly saying, look, if this is true, then we really have a problem in this country. And I spoke out forcefully, supporting President Obasanjo, saying, look, if this is true, if people are listed to be killed, the president has to stop this nonsense and has to get it right. Since that time, I have done my own homework, I have got closer to these people, and I've recognized the fact that I don't believe that these are the sort of people that draw up hit lists and kill people. That is my own judgment, that is my own view based on what I know. Now, I don't want to condemn President Obasanjo. I don't want to say he's right or wrong. All I'm saying is that I differ in my view. And I also believe that perhaps it was an error on my part to have simply accepted all that he said at that time.
Mr. Fani-Kayode, there's a pattern. I put it to you. We've sat down here and we've talked for quite a number of minutes. And with a few things, you've said to me, perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps the information that I had. Now that I'm close to these people, now that I know more than I know. And so, would you say that perhaps you're too quick to jump into things if you're now admitting to multiple errors of judgment?
There's no multiple error of judgment here. We spoke about Obasanjo, and I told you that I do not believe this president or this government has a hit list. I also told you about the issue of APC. These are the two areas I think I made.
No, the quote on President Jonathan as well. You said
I didn't say that.
You said you've gotten closer to him, and you've sort of now understand why the army.
We must get to a point in this country where leaders are prepared to say, "Listen, I said this or I did this. Perhaps it wasn't the right thing to do." You see, what?
So you were wrong on a number of occasions.
But of course, nobody's infallible. I mean, everybody makes errors of judgment and mistakes. Everybody. The difference between me and most people is that once I accept the fact that I see or I have better knowledge or understanding of a situation, I will retrace my steps very, very quickly. People are always too quick to judge others. I can assure you that the most difficult decisions that some of us have had to make is whether or not we're going to stay or leave. I spent five or six good years within the PDP before I left, managing it from within, screaming from the top of every roof. They were saying that I wasn't being fair to the party. I did so from within. Nothing changed until after I left. And then after I left, things began to fall into place and people began to sit up. And of course, some of the issues that I raised were addressed. And I went back. That's the right and proper thing to do. And I can speak just for myself. We're motivated by conviction, by our passion for the country, and for the fact that we believe this country deserves the very best of leadership, not a cult-like type of leadership that accepts everything the leadership of any political party or any government does.
It's time for a quick break.
You may wonder why I switched to layer milk. Well, I got hooked after my fitness trainer told me about the good stuff inside. You should try it.
Exercise and making good nutrition decisions like drinking calcium-enriched loyal milk every day is vital because it helps you nourish your bones and body so that you can live a more active life every day.
That's why I encourage my clients and ensure that my family gets their loyal milk too.
So, make that switch to calcium-fortified loyal milk because it's what's inside that matters.